Liz Kelley and I have been friends since 1976, when both of our kids were diagnosed with cancer on the same day, and we've been friends ever since.
That's right. It was August the 23rd, 1976, and they were both diagnosed with the same thing. Muffy was 6 at the time.
6. And
Sean was 10. And we had some really tough years following the start of our diagnosis, but we had a wonderful little home at Texas Children's Hospital. The little 2-story residence dorm became our home away from home for the next few years. And Sean, fortunately, did very well. Muffy had a much harder time, and Dick started helping us from the beginning when we started hearing about the Ronald McDonald House, which was like in '78. And we had a parents' meeting. We all met, decided this was something we really wanted to have for Houston. So the fondest memory I know of Dick was Muffy did die, and I didn't know if I would ever see him again. But we opened the house in May of 1981, and standing at the door was this wonderful man. We were much younger at that time. And he said, "I've come to help." And I cannot tell you what he's meant to the Ronald McDonald House here, but also all across the country. And it was in what year that you started the
1983.
Yeah.
83.
And you got permission to...
We got the Pilots Association to fund the dinner, and we're going to try it for a year. That was in
1980?
November 1983.
And so then from there, how did you carry it on?
Well, the flight attendant supervisor, I couldn't get the flight attendants to come over because they were afraid of what they would see. So the flight attendant supervisors agreed to come down from Dallas and help cook. They cooked, and they said, "This is great. Can we do this in Dallas?" And I said, "Oh, yeah, probably." Yeah, I knew the answer already. The answer was absolutely yes, because I already met the president of Dallas House. And so the flight attendant supervisor spread the project to Dallas. And then when the VPs found out about it, the VP came down and said, "Can Herb and Colleen come help?" And I said, "Sure." They came down. After that, it was, here we go. It was jump on, and we're going wild here. So.
And truly, it's the most successful corporate charity in the whole United States. It's really something to be so proud of, and it started here with Dickies and Southwest Airlines. I can't think of anything that's happened better for our house and for the rest of the country. It's given so many people that feeling of being home, the wonderful dinners you cook, and it's the most fun time for all of us to come to the house. If I ever have anybody I would like to introduce the house to and they think it's going to be sad, I bring them to the second Tuesday of the month, and you're met with such wonderful hospitality.
Well, I just say I was the first Southwest employee to be a member of both families. And any Southwest employee that is a member of both families knows exactly what I'm talking about, and that is at Southwest we're taught to look after each other and to expect to look after each other when they're down, when they're having a bad time or a tough day. That's when they need some special extra attention. And so you take that combination of where we're taught at Southwest to look after each other, and we already know how to do it in-house, and we come in the Ronald McDonald House and we can do it. And that's the key to why we're successful. And also it's because when you have a child, I say there's no such thing as terminal.
Right.
There's potentially terminal. So when you have a child that's potentially terminal, people are afraid of you. And I've always said that I teach it a little bit, but Southwest people just have a natural knack for not being afraid of people whose kids are ill. And that's all the people want. And I go around the country and I talk to house managers and I tell them, I say, I teach Southwest Airlines employees to make as much noise as they can in the kitchen. And then, but if they do wake somebody up, when the person goes back to sleep, they know somebody cares, and that's more important than the fact that you woke them up. And the house managers look at Liz, look at her shaking her head over here, going, they look at me, they go, you really do understand. So the idea is you don't be afraid of the families, and you come in and you try to liven them up and have a good time. And we're successful because we put our people in the house, and because the Southwest people have the Southwest love that's been taught to them, ingrained by Herb and Colleen and the whole group. And so that's how we succeed at what we do. And we have fun. And we get more out of it than we put into it. It's always something special you take home every time.
And people from Southwest aren't afraid to get involved with the families, and just talking about, what's your diagnosis, how are you doing? I mean, most of these people have families who are they're so afraid to talk to them about their child, and they don't want to cry in front of them. We shed a lot of tears, but crying means you care. So we learned a long time ago that crying is a wonderful sign. So we've just had a great journey these last years. Dick and I often talk about something that if Muffy hadn't been here and if Sean hadn't been here, we would have never done what we were able to do. They gave us it was a blessing in disguise. It was
They taught us how to be tough.
They taught us how to be tough and also how to give. And I think Muffy's always smiling at Dick.
The hardest thing for me to say is something I heard in the Denver Ronald McDonald House, way back when we flew to Denver before Denver opened this time. And the Denver house manager told me, she said, the Ronald McDonald House is a place for the kids to take care of their parents. And that's what it's all about. The kids know how to adapt. The kids, they just can adapt better than parents can. I always give the example of I came home with my daughter, she had no hair, she went outside with a hat on. I was exhausted. My wife and I went up upstairs and took a nap for 2 hours, and we came out and there's 12 kids in the front yard, and all 12 kids had hats on. And that's the way the kids support each other. And adults don't know how to do that. But the kids teach the adults how to get through it. And the kids are the ones that are the toughest, and the kids teach the adults.
That's right. But they are truly, at that age, they have wisdom way beyond their years. And we've seen it with a lot of kids. They have an incredible amount of, they get it. They get what life is all about. And you just have to thank God for the blessings you have. And I think we've been real lucky, Dick. We've had a good life and a good journey.
Right. But, and you go back to the day they were diagnosed, and Dr. Fernback looked you right in the eye, and he says, today will change the rest of your life. He was that direct.
It did, yeah.
And it did, big time. And of course, the thing for me, what really floored me was when my now 19-year-old daughter wrote a paper in high school, and the girls called me in the room, and they go, Dad, you're going to cry. I go,
What's new?
What's new? Yeah. And Brittany had written a paper for high school. And the paper that she wrote was, how the sister I never met affected my life.
Oh, how
because
wonderful.
She did have a big impact, and they know how big an impact she had, because this is what it's all about, is what did we learn from these kids to how to give back to other people. And if we had never been in this situation and learned from these kids, we wouldn't know what we were doing, and we wouldn't have the dedication that we do now.
That's right.
Liz needs to get some credit for the fact that she was the one that was the primary person that raised the money to build the Houston Ronald McDonald House, which was the 12th Ronald McDonald House in the country. And at that time, you were knocking on doors, and nobody knew what a Ronald McDonald House was.
That's right.
And that had to be hard.
And they thought we were going to have golden arches over the front door. And so many corporations thought, gosh, I don't want to promote Ronald McDonald. I don't want to promote McDonald's. But as it ended up, the whole community just came together and